Top accolade global news updates. I am Soibifa Jackery. South Korea's health minister said on Monday authorities will start inspecting hospitals in order to take legal action against trainee doctors who have ignored an ultimatum to end a walkout over government plans to increase medical school admissions. Around 9,000 residents and intern doctors, about 70% of the country's total, have walked off the job since February 20th, leading to the cancellation of some surgeries and treatments and putting a strain on emergency departments. Please keep in mind that doctors who have not returned may experience serious problems in their personal career path. For protesting doctors who return to the field, Cho said the government would consider extenuating circumstances when contemplating any action against them. Later, Vice Health Minister Park Min-soo said the government would take steps to suspend the medical licenses of some 7,000 trainee doctors who had left their jobs. Patients outside a major hospital in Seoul said they were concerned about the impact of treatment of a drawn-out standoff and called for talks to ensure swift resolution. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris on Sunday demanded the Palestinian militant group Hamas agree to an immediate 6-week ceasefire while forcefully urging Israel to do more to boost aid deliveries into Gaza, where she said innocent people were suffering a humanitarian catastrophe, and some of the strongest comments by a senior leader of the U.S. government to date on the issue. Harris pressed the Israeli government and outlined specific ways on how more aid can flow into densely populated enclave where hundreds of thousands of people are facing famine following 5 months of Israel's military campaign. On Sunday, a Hamas delegation had arrived in Cairo for the latest round of ceasefire talks, billed by many as the final possible hurdle for a truce, but it was unclear if any progress was made. Israeli newspaper Yedot Haronite's online version reported that Israel boycotted the talks after Hamas rejected its demand for a complete list naming hostages who are still alive. Washington has insisted the ceasefire deal was closed and has been pushing to put in place a truce by the start of Ramadan, a week away. A U.S. official on Saturday said Israel has agreed on a framework deal. An agreement would bring the first extended truce of the war, which has raged for 5 months so far, with just a week-long pause in November. Dozens of hostages held by Hamas militants would be freed in return for hundreds of Palestinian detainees. European and US buyers will compete aggressively for Middle Eastern aluminium if the European Union bans Russian metal in coming months, sparking price rises reminiscent of 2018 when sanctions were imposed on Russia. A race for aluminium from Middle Eastern countries, including the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, will fuel inflation from Western companies in the transport, packaging and construction industries, already facing high raw materials and payroll costs. Buyers of all aluminium in the physical markets pay the London Metal Exchange (LME) price plus a premium to cover transport and handling costs and taxes. European premiums will have to rise to attract metal away from other regions, including the United States. Premiums in the US will also have to rise to keep metals coming. US sanctions on Russian producer Rusal in April 2018 triggered a crisis that saw aluminium on the London Metal Exchange (LME) jump 35% in a few days to 7-year highs. European duty paid premiums shot up 45% in the following month, while US premiums increased 20% over the same period. Bitcoin rallied a 2-year high on Monday, breaking above $65,000 as a wave of money carried it within striking distance of record levels. The price hit a section high of $65,537 early in Europe, having already hit a new 2-year high in Asian trading. It was last up 4% at $65,045. Bitcoin hit a record $68,999.99 in in November 2021. The largest cryptocurrency by market value has gained 50% this year, and most of the rise come in the last few weeks where inflows into US-listed Bitcoin funds have surged. Spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds were approved in the United States earlier this year. Their launch opened the way for new large investors and have reignited enthusiasm and momentum reminiscent of the run-up to levels in 2021. Net flows into 10 largest US spot Bitcoin funds reached $2.17 billion in the week to March 1st, with more than half of that going into BlackRock's iShare Bitcoin trusts, according to LSEG data. Smaller rivals either has hitched a ride on speculations that it's too many soon have exchange-traded funds driving inflows. It's up 50% year to date, and by Monday was trading at 2-year highs, up 2.6% on the day at $3,518. The rally has come in tandem with records tumbling on stock indexes from Japan's Nikkei to the S&P 500 and tech-heavy Nasdaq, and with volatility gauged in equities and foreign exchange turning lower. U.S. congressional negotiators on Sunday unveiled a bill to fund key parts of the government through the rest of the fiscal year that began in October, as lawmakers faced yet another threat of a partial shutdown if they fail to act by Friday. The legislation set a discretionary spending level of $1.66 trillion for fiscal 2024. A spokesman for Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said it fills in the details of an agreement that Schumer and Republican House of Representatives Senate Speaker Mike Johnson set in early January. Lawmakers last week passed the fourth stopgap measure since October 1st to keep the government funded and set themselves two quick deadlines to act, with funding for a part of the government, including the Department of Transportation and the Food and Drug Administration, running out on March 8th, and most other federal agencies partially shutting down on March 22nd. The 1,050-page bill lays out in detail funding for 6 of the dozen segments of the government that Congress is charged with allocating money for. With the next 6 due by later in the month, the bill maintains the aggressive investment Democrats secured for American families, American workers, and America's national defense. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said in a statement, while the top leaders of Congress have agreed on the deal, it still faces some challenges, notably opposition by hardline Republicans in the House, who have repeatedly called for sharp spending cuts and typically do not vote for spending bills. That hardline energy, which led to the ouster of Johnson's predecessors, Kevin McCarthy, has also gained steam in the traditionally more staid Senate, leading to top Republican Mitch McConnell's decision last week to step down from his leadership role at the end of this year. That is the size of Top Accolade Global News Updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Monday.